What's going on, guys? It's Trevor with Embers. Today we are doing a new top 5 video. What's on our list today? Top 5 what?
Traditional fireplaces.
Traditional gas fireplaces. Don't forget gas. You're standing right by him, dude. Come on, man. It's summertime. It's almost 90 degrees because I've had these on so they look nice for you guys at home. In the spirit of summer, got my nice Tommy Bahama shirt on. I am ready to roll. Let's just take a gander at some of these units and then let's get going on our top 5 traditional gas fireplaces. All right, guys, don't forget our showroom's in the Denver, Colorado area. So if you're in that area, come down to our showroom, see these products for yourself. You guys have to subscribe to our channel. It's the only way that supports us to be able to keep making videos like this is if you subscribe, thumbs up this video, helps us out a ton. We're gonna start with a quick honorable mention before we get into our top 5. Whew, this is hot. When they're this high, just right in the face. A lot of heat in the face. This is the Valor H3 Series. It didn't quite make the top 5, but we wanted to give it a little love. What do we like about Valor? Do you know? No power, no problem. You should know the slogan. We say it all the time in the store, don't we? You've never heard us say that, have you? Not once. So what's cool about Valor, they don't require any power, but they still heat a ton. So monster heaters without using any power. The other thing we like about them is this is the smallest in the traditional series. They have super tolerant or tight framing clearances. So that means if we're in a really tight space or if we have a little bump out on the side of our house with a short roof on it and we don't have a lot of room to work with, Valor is awesome because they fit in really tight spaces. So it solves a lot of problems from an install standpoint. When we have customers with old TV niches or whatever the case may be, Valor is sort of our go-to for a tricky install because they're so easy with framing, things like that. So if you have a niche or difficult install, definitely check out the Valor. This is the smallest in the series. They have the H3, I think they have an H4, 5, and 6. So they get a lot larger, but this is the smallest in the series. Honorable mention. Should we go on to number 5? Okay, starting with number 5. This is the Ortal or Ortal. How do we say that? Ortal. Do you like Ortal or Ortal? Ortal? Okay, we'll go with Ortal. Coming in at number 5. Number 5. Ortal. What do we like about Ortal? Well, the reason it makes our top 5, and this is just more of a aesthetic, so this can vary from person to person. Me personally, I think it's one of the most attractive traditional fireplaces that I've seen. I go to the trade shows every year. I see fireplaces that we don't carry. We're familiar with all the brands. This is one of the best looking ones always at the trade show. Why do I say that? Well, it's a big open firebox. We have really nice clean lines. This has a safety screen on it, or you can order it with double glass. So it'd have 2 layers of glass, so it'd have no screen. And so when it has that, it gives us that nice big open feel. So if you're sort of a customer that wants the illusion of a big open firebox, I think that this could almost pass for looking like it's open, don't you think, or no? Or can you tell there's something on there?
I can definitely think that it's very open.
Yeah. So it fits that check mark of wanting that open feel concept. You can do different panels. This is the red herringbone. You can do black reflective, different log sets. The other thing I like is it has like a traditional wood fire grate. Now, what do I mean by that? It means you got a grate with logs sitting on top, just like you would in an old traditional firebox. So the logs aren't sitting, or the ember bed isn't sitting right on the floor. It's on a wood grate. But that's what we love about it. If you're going for that open feel or open concept, it's an awesome unit. What don't we like about it? So this is sort of a good bad depending on your particular install setting. But it's not a powerhouse heater. And for some of you guys, that's kind of more what you want. Other of you guys are after heat. So if you're after a monster heater, this may not be the best choice. It's gonna be more of an aesthetic unit. It does heat. I do feel some good amount of heat coming out of here. No blower or anything, but It's gonna heat the space, but certainly not compared to some of the other brands. The other thing with it is they are costly. So they're not the cheapest fireplaces out there, but in this designer type space, that's usually what you're getting, is you're gonna pay a premium price because it's more of a designer type look. Also with Ortal, sometimes they're a little tricky with installation. They're a little trickier, a little more difficult to install compared to other units out there. So that's sort of the pros, cons with the Ortal. Again, in summary, if you want an open look concept with a traditional, very, very traditional firebox, Ortal's one of the best looking in that regard. Also too, they just came out with this, and we'll have it, right now we just have a brochure to show you because we ordered a new display. It's called their Wilderness Collection. Now do you see where the fire's, where's that fire coming out of?
Straight from the logs.
Straight from the logs. How cool is that?
It's unique.
Because that sometimes happens with a real fire. So it's sort of that Wilderness Collection, and you can do the Wilderness burner in this traditional firebox, and it looks, I've seen it in person, it looks awesome. It looks even more traditional than this. So that Wilderness Collection is primo. Absolutely awesome. We'll have a display soon. So that's the Ortal Traditional Series. You can get it with the regular burner or the Wilderness burner. Should we go on to number 4? Okay, number 4. Let's try to get through this a little bit. This is the Empire Rushmore or the Empire Renegade series. Empire is super confusing. They have 2 brands that are absolutely identical. They have White Mountain Hearth and American Hearth, all with different names. Same darn fireplace. The reason they do that is so one dealer can be a White Mountain Hearth, one dealer can be an American Hearth, and you have 2 different brands within the same town. It's really stupid. It's something that a lot of fireplace brands do. All it does is confuse you guys at home. So for simplicity's sake, same exact thing. This is the Rushmore or Renegade, depending on what you're looking at. What do we love about this fireplace? What do you think we like about this?
Big viewing area.
Big, monster, ginormous viewing area. This is the 50-inch. It comes in a 40-inch and a 36-inch. Again, really nice, clean lines. What's cool about this guy is this is about as rustic as it gets. So if you like this really, really rustic look, I don't think there's a better looking rustic fireplace than this guy. Of course, it's massive. This is one of the biggest fireplaces that we have. But we sort of have this distressed pewter front with sort of these hammered dimples in it. We have the really rustic stone background with the big beefy logs and big andirons on here. But what's cool about it is you can dress it out super contemporary. So super clean lines, black reflective, driftwood. So this fireplace can really match any particular decor that you have. Also, we want to mention is one of the things that's really cool about this is the heat. So standing in front of it is a monster heater. It is super efficient, one of the best heaters in the industry. They actually use a catalytic combustor, almost like a wood stove, up in the top of this guy. That's what helps with its efficiency. Also from a performance standpoint, we'll talk about this later with some of our other models, it has what we call a dual stage burner. So I can go shut off that rear burner and then turn it down. So it gives us a lot of flexibility with heat output. What don't we like about this fireplace? A couple things. In this 50-inch, we've dialed this in the best we can, but one of the troubles is we have a lot of open firebox. You see that? So this flame looks smaller than it actually is. It's actually a really big flame, but it's such a big box, it doesn't quite fill the box up compared to the smaller sizes. I think the 40-inch is sort of the sweet spot. It looks the fullest and richest in the 40-inch. It really fills out that box nicely. Other thing, I would say 8 out of 10 installs nowadays do TVs above the fireplace. There is no, at this point in time of the video, there is no option for a cool wall system or a way to effectively install a TV above this. This wall is scorching. Scorching? Is that where we're going with? So you'd probably have to mount your TV here. So maybe on the 36 at 40, it wouldn't be a big deal, but there's no way to get the TV tight. So it does have some limitations with your install options. Outside of that, there's not a lot we don't like about it. It's an awesome, awesome unit. That's why I made the top 5. Should we go on to, what are we on? Number 3? Number 3. All right, so this is number 3. This is the Napoleon Altitude Series. You guys have probably seen my videos on these. Forgot to mention, we'll include descriptions or links for the full-length videos of all of these where we go into much more detail. Why is this number 3? In fact, actually the Napoleon Altitude is gonna be our best-selling gas fireplace in the traditional lineup, period. We sell more of these than any. Why is that the case? It comes in 2 sizes. We have a 36-inch and 42-inch. Besides the variety of sizes, what else makes it such a good seller is a lot like we talked about with the Empire, the ability to mix and match. We can go clean face with no front. This one we have the arched accents in the fronts. We can customize the insides. It's kind of a la carte. So here we have like black reflective with white birch logs. Here we have herringbone with driftwood. There's traditional oak logs. There's maple logs. There's straight brick, herringbone brick, black reflective. So you can really sort of trick this out to specifically what you like. And there's not a lot of fireplaces out there that offer this much customization. So that's one reason people love it. Another reason people love it is it's very tapered. Now, I'll probably have to give you a close-up of this one, and Elijah, make sure to do an overlay of the framing dimensions to show what the box looks like. These fireboxes are almost like a triangle. That benefits a couple things. One, it's really helpful for corner installations where you put it in a corner. It can really suck that fireplace tight to the corner without taking up a ton of real estate in the house. Also, as you can see specifically with the black reflective, those tapered corners really, really pop. It really, really mirrors the flame, and I think adds a ton of aesthetic appeal. Another reason people love it, it comes loaded up. You get the unit. Of course, you pick your logs and panels. You don't have to buy a front. Comes with a blower, comes with Bluetooth controls, comes with remote control, thermostat mode. You can adjust the blower, the night light, all that comes standard. So you get a ton of features out of the box, and it's not overly priced. So these are like our builder units up here. This is like what contractors or tract homes would buy. They buy these by the hundreds. So it's a step up from these guys, but you're not going crazy or breaking the bank. That's why they sell so well, is they're very, very reasonably priced. They're not the cheapest fireplace we sell, but they're certainly nowhere close to the most expensive. So I think you get the most amount of features for your buck, if that makes sense. So that's why we love the Napoleon Altitude. That's why we sell so many of them. If we had to say one thing we don't like, they actually just released a heat management system that allows for our mantle clearances to come down and our TV specs to come down, which is great. However, they have a really tall height for your framing clearance. So they don't fit crazy, crazy well, like compared to the Valor, like our honorable mention. They're not quite as taller in that regard. So they do offer some nice install options for televisions and mantles, but behind the wall with our framing clearances, it's not quite as low as some of its competitors. Outside of that, there's not a lot we don't like about this guy. Heat standpoint, it's a medium heater. It's a good solid amount of heat coming off of these. It's not a crazy powerhouse heater either. So you're sort of right in the middle, which again is sort of fits the bill for most consumers. That's why it does so well. So that's the Napoleon Altitude Series. So we move on to number 2. All right, coming in at number 2 is gonna be our Mendota Full View Series. This is ranked number 2, and this is a similar sentiment to my linear fireplace video. They're actually my favorite. The Mendota Full View is my favorite fireplace. I personally think they're the best. The only reason they're not ranked number 1 is they're a luxury product. So they're gonna be considerably higher than their competitors. And for that reason, we just can't rank them number 1 because they're just so darn expensive. But if you're looking for the best fireplace out there, in my opinion, this is it. Why are they the best? Well, what's cool about the Full View series is you kind of start with a shape. So they offer a ton of shape and sizes. What do we mean by that? This is the smallest. This is a 34-inch. You can get it squared or arched. Now, what's cool with the arch is the actual piece of glass in there is arched. There's also the 41, which is more of a squared firebox. That one too, show them a picture of that one, comes squared or arched. Then we can go to a 36-inch. This 36-inch is your very traditional firebox. This is one of our most popular sizes, and the reason is it reminds people of the old 70s fireplace. Now, what do we mean by that? All old masonry fireplaces used to be 36 by 24. That's essentially what the footprint of this is. So if you're going for that very traditional sort of old school brick fireplace look, this size is a great size. Now come over here. They also offer it in a very, very unique sort of hybrid roll. So this is the full view 42, so it's even wider. So it's similar height to the 36-inch glass, but a wider platform. Now this is one of our best sellers because it sort of bridges the gap between stuff like this, you know, super contemporary, like linear fireplaces. It sort of has that linear rectangular feel, but we still have that hardy, traditional, old school firebox where we still have some height to our glass, but we're starting to get into that linear style feel. So it's sort of a hybrid unit. Not a lot of brands are doing this. And this, because of that, is very unique and it's one of our best sellers. And it comes even one size wider. Same glass height, but instead of a 42, it's a 48. And that really is a hybrid unit, and I think it looks awesome. So this is one of my personal favorite shapes because it bridges that gap. Now, why is this shape so cool? Because we're not getting into the crazy height, and with TV installations being so popular now, we can get the TV super tight to the fireplace because our glass height is not that tall, so our TV's not way up in the air. So that's what the problem solves with this particular shape. There's another shape that they have too, square. Let's show you over here. This guy right here, this is their largest shape, or square shape traditional firebox. So this is the full V46, nice and tall. I particularly own this exact model in my house. And the reason I like it is my wife wanted a fireplace right on the floor. If you're putting something right on the floor, that nice tall glass is nice because it's gonna make the wall fill up. That doesn't sound right. It's gonna fill up the wall space nicely, even though you have this all the way to the floor. So this fireplace works, especially when you're super tight to the floor. Now, what else do we like about these guys? Let's talk about them a little more. Okay, what are some other things that we like about these guys? Well, let's start with aesthetics. Man, is that pretty from back there? Look how pretty that thing is. Gorgeous. Just primo fireplaces, top notch. So what's really cool, a lot like we talked about with the altitude, is we can mix and match a ton of choices. So we can mix and match brick panels, black reflective. We can mix and match, now this is really unique to them, we can mix and match frames and fronts. So here we have a really wide front in the oil rub bronze. There's an example of like a brushed chrome. Here we have sort of a narrow copper finish. You can just do plain black, simple, and then a super narrow finish as well. So ton of install options. We can mix and match our burner assembly. So some of these have more what's called a decor or a contemporary burner. So in this, we have a flatbed burner. You can see here we have crushed glass. You can just do crushed glass if you wanted more of a contemporary lineup in a square firebox. We can do crushed glass with logs, or we can do our sort of stadium burner here. And we can mix and match log colors as well. White birch, oak, Norway spruce. So aesthetically, I don't think there's a fireplace out there that gives you more choices aesthetically than Mendota. They by far have the most combos that you can mix and match. Let's start with performance. There is not a fireplace that is gonna perform better than Mendota. They have a longer warranty, they're more physically heavy units, they give off the most heat, they're the most efficient, they are the best fireplace. Their blowers, let's start with their blowers. So they have two separate independent blower motors. It's not just two blowers running off of one motor. So those blowers produce a higher CFM while also reducing fan noise. Is my mic picking up on this fan? You're not gonna know. Ooh, that's hot. This fan is on right now. Can't even hear it. So it has one of the quietest blowers. On top of that, because it's one of the heaviest fireboxes, it has like the thickest gauge steel. So with that really thick gauge steel, we get less warping and popping from that metal expanding. You don't hear that as much. And then also, when you shut this fireplace off, I bet you this thing is gonna be pumping heat into the room for another 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So you're heating the house using no fuel. That's pretty cool if you think about it. And that's not really gonna show up on your efficiency ratings. That's just heating after the fact, almost like a wood stove would. So they're absolute mega powerhouse heaters. Now what's cool, going back to our install settings, we have a lot of choices that we can do to accommodate specific installs. Let's say you're somebody that doesn't want any heat. In that case, we can use a Versaheat Kit. It's basically some ductwork that's gonna go off the fireplace. And with the flick of a switch, you can send all the heat, it's like a heat dump. You can send 96% of the heat outside the house to where you're getting no heat into the room at all. So if you wanted to use it in the summer, or if you live in a hot climate where you don't need the heat, but you like the Mendota product, you can do that. They also have a heat kit option where we can send heat to another room. So if you wanted to duct heat into another room, almost like a furnace, you can do that as well. And then we have a third install option. It's kind of gonna look like this, but essentially it's what's called a cool wall kit, where half of our heat is gonna go up through this ductwork, you know, somewhere above your TV, and then half is coming out here. That allows us to get the fireplace within a foot or so, a little over a foot, to the top of the firebox. So it gives us a ton of flexibility for install options, no matter what your install setting is. It gives us the most amount of cosmetic choices. From a performance standpoint, there's nothing more efficient out there. There's nothing higher quality. There's nothing with a longer warranty. Also, last thing, just like our Empire unit, we have the option for that dual stage burner. So again, even if you're not using any flex venting or cool venting system, we have the ability to turn these down lower than other models simply by using our dual stage burner. The longer I talk, why is this not ranked #1? Do you do the rankings here? Did you screw up the ranking, my paper that ranked them? No, just kidding. We know this is #2. If they were just a tiny bit more well priced, they'd be #1. But because they're so expensive, they just don't fit the bill for everybody. And we have a large range of audience members that watch this channel. So this product disqualifies a lot of consumers. So it's not really a product for everybody. It's gonna be a luxury product, kind of like a luxury vehicle or something. So if you have the budget, or if you just are simply interested in buying the best product out there, this, in my opinion, is the best fireplace. We just couldn't rank it #1 because of the price, but it's definitely worth a look. Okay, finally, coming in, without further ado, #1. #1, Napoleon Elevation Series. Why is it ranked #1? Well, it has a lot of the features that we just talked about with Mendota, and this is essentially the Napoleon Altitude souped up. This is the Napoleon Altitude on steroids. What do we mean by that? Well, it has a deeper firebox. So with that extra depth in the firebox, I think it helps it make it look more authentic. And like the Ortal series, it actually has a fire grate. So our log kit sits up and actually fills up the space a little bit better. I think it really fills up the 42-inch firebox really nicely. Has a ton of fronts and finishes, just like the Altitude. In fact, they're the same. And just like the Altitude, we can mix and match log panels, brick colors, log panels, log sets, brick panels, things like that. But you do get some upgrades over the Altitude. Besides just the depth of the firebox and the bigger, beefier logs that sit up, we also have better performance. So it's gonna be higher heat. So it's gonna give you a little more bang for the buck, a little more heat. And then also, just like the Mendota, we have our dual stage burner. And then a fun little fancy thing they give us is this LED light strip on the bottom. So let me turn that off so you can see what I'm talking about. So see that shut off? So just a nice little aesthetic appeal that they give us. So it's essentially the Altitude series, but more attractive and a better performer. It's also gonna give us more install options. So with this guy, we can install their dynamic heat control, which is gonna be a cool wall system. What's really cool about their cool wall system is we can do shiplap or wood, right to the firebox when we do that. TV can be within 6 inches of the fireplace. So it's gonna give us the most amount of flexibility when it comes to installing a TV. Gives you Bluetooth controls, blower is standard. So why does it rank number 1? Well, it's not quite as heavy duty or quite as efficient as the Mendotas, but is darn close. And it gives us all these features, all these premium luxury type looks or features at a reasonable price. I don't think there's a fireplace out there that gives you more fireplace with a luxury feel that's gonna be reasonable. It's still expensive. It's one of our more expensive fireplaces, but it is a luxury fireplace. For that premium space, it's really, really hard to beat for the buck. It really is. It gives you a ton of features for the money. What's that say?
101.
I am hot. We better finish this. Last thing we forgot to talk about, like the Ortal, I'm drooling. I'm getting so hot, I'm getting delusional. This has a safety screen standard. They have a really cool feature where we can do a double glass, like the Napoleon Luxuria, which is a contemporary unit. Take a look at that if you want to see what I'm talking about. But it essentially would eliminate the safety screen option for us. They also have like way more panels. So they have like ledgestone panels. They actually have a black glass, which is actual ceramic glass, which looks awesome. It's definitely a premium type panel. So that's what I mean. You get all these aesthetic choices, not quite as many as Mendota, not quite as efficient as Mendota, not quite as heavy duty, not physically as heavy, but it's like a Mendota, but more affordable, if that makes sense. The only thing I wish is what I think this thing would be killer in is if they had a shape like the Mendota Full V42. I think that's awesome. Awesome shape, and they would knock it out of the park if they had a shape like that. But they do just have the square. So I guess would be a knock is we don't have as many shape options. This is the 30, they does come in a 36 and 42. A lot of people, like if you're doing a multiple fireplace setting in your house, what's really cool is, this is what a lot of people do, is in the great room, they'll do like the focal point, they'll spend the extra money and do the elevation. And then they can almost do the matching fireplace like in a secondary room. Well, they'll do the altitude where they don't need to spend as much money. So if you're sort of looking for a 1-2 punch, that's a really popular combo. Do the elevation, and then in a secondary room, do the altitude, save a little bit of money. So this is the Napoleon Elevation. Again, to me, my personal opinion, I would personally rank the Mendota #1. But for sort of a fireplace that fits the bill for all potential consumers, this is a really, really difficult fireplace to beat. All right, should we wrap this video up? So just to summarize, we have the Ortal Traditional coming in at #5. What we like about this the best is it really simulates an open feel concept. So if you don't want it to look like there's glass or anything, maybe check out this guy. #4 was the Empire Renegade series. What do we love about it? It's very efficient, ton of install options. It's one of the only fireplaces that offers a firebox quite this big, and that's why we like this guy. #3 was the Napoleon Altitude series. This is if you want a step up from the Builders type series or sort of a base grade unit. We sell these, our #1 selling fireplace, because you get so much fireplace for your money. #2, and my personal favorite gas fireplace, is gonna be the Mendota series, the Full View series. They offer the most amount of shapes, they offer the most amount of aesthetic appeal, they offer the best warranty, and the most amount of flexibility with your install options. Basically, they are the best at everything when it comes to traditional gas fireplaces, period. But they don't rank #1. Napoleon Elevation coming in at #1. Basically, you're gonna sacrifice some things with this over the Mendota. I would still buy a Mendota over this. But if you're not quite into spending the luxury type pricing, this sort of checks the boxes of that luxury feel without breaking the bank. It's still gonna be on the expensive side, but again, it is not gonna break the bank. So that's why we really rank this #1, is it's gonna fit the bill for more consumers across the board, if that makes sense. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Obviously, my personal opinion on these guys, just what I think, working in the industry for so long. If you have any questions, come down to our showroom today, check out these products for yourself. Should I start shutting some fireplaces off, Elijah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's shut some of these off. If you want to see them, you're just gonna have to come down in person, or if you're not local, call and text our staff. Yeah, even the bugs are like, I'm out of here, man. It's too hot for me. Call or text our staff. Some of these products are available to ship nationwide, not all of them. But call or text our staff, we'll be happy to help you out, get you set up with the fireplace you need. Stay tuned for more videos.